Hello. Thank you so much for coming to my website. And it is my pleasure to have you on this platform. If this is the first time you are visiting me, thank you so much. Perhaps through referral or Google search or however means that you came across my channel. I am so glad that we crossed paths today. Please, as always, I would encourage you to click the subscribe button down there and you see the notification bell. Please click on those so that you will always be the first person to get notification anytime I release new content, because I am always here to come up with very engaging ideas and contents. So please click that notification and then subscribe to my channel and help me to share these channel with your networks and your colleagues and your different social media platforms so that others will also benefit from this. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for always trusting me and always listening to me and always interacting with me. I love it. Thank you so much. And I do really appreciate all of your efforts. I also encourage you to please help to continue to share this with your network, like, share, and comment. Thank you so much. All right, so today we'll be talking about something really important, and I'll be very much direct and very specific because as a Scrum Master myself, sometimes I am always asked this very important question. And you know what that question is? I know you might be curious. Anyways, I'm going to give that to you in a short while. That question is, are you ready for that? It is right on the screen. KPI of a Scrum Master, key performance indicator of a Scrum Master. How would you measure the success of a Scrum Master, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. How would you measure the success of a Scrum Master? Is there like a yardstick? On what ground? What is the percentage? What is the measuring rod? You know, these are the questions you might be asking. What value does a Scrum Master, or what are the values Agile coaches and Scrum Masters bring to organizations? Those has been questions that a lot of people have been asking, apart from scheduling meetings and coordinating meetings and all whatnot. What other values and impact does a Scrum Master bring to the table? Okay. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And I'm just going to summarize it because I know that, if you go to Google and put key performance indicator of a Scrum Master, you're going to see a lot of, results. But I've been trying to organize those ideas realistically based on my own experience as a Scrum Master and also based from research. So sit back and I will entertain you with this very much interesting conversation. Okay, as always, I'm going to show you my board and then we'll keep the conversation going. So the first thing I want us to start with is, some kind of quotations, right? And I am someone that loves quotation because for me, it is like an icebreaker. It is like, something to keep the conversation going, right? I have basically 3 quotations that I thought we could, take a look at that will kickstart this conversation. Again, I've already mentioned that in one of my videos that if you're a Scrum Master and you're going to use an icebreaker, it could be a question, it could be a quotation, it could be whatever it is. Let it, be towards what you want to achieve. So for these quotations, it's going to help us in arriving to the end result of what we are hoping to achieve today. So the first is, if you have, watched this video called Nanny McFair, Emma Thompson, he, said something. For Emma Thompson, it is, quote, "When you need me but don't want me, then I must stay. When you want me but no longer need me, then I have to go." What I got from that is the ethics of work. how people visualize the impact you bring. Now, two things. What is need? The other one is want. Right? When you realize that you are no longer needed, but you are wanted, then you should be able to ask yourself as a Scrum Master, what value are you bringing? If you have to leave this organization today, would they miss you in a way that, I mean, the impact will be obvious? Okay. Now, the second one really got my attention, and I thought I should share that with you here. It says, if 6 months from now you would decide to or not extend my contract, what would you base your decision on? What is it you would like to see changed? Exactly. This really nailed it. It kind of gives us the idea of the value or why the organization is hiring you or has hired you, right? So it kind of nailed it. On what ground are you going to make your decisions, either to let me go or to let me stay? Okay. And the third one is, quote, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. I love this. A lot of people, think that being vulnerable is bad. No, I don't think that vulnerability is bad. Fail fast and fail early. I have, I use myself an example. I understand. I still remember to memory when I started my career as a Scrum Master. I mean, I realized the many mistakes I made, but I learned from those mistakes. So my ability to talk to you today, my ability to create this content, in fact, I mean, you need to see when I started speaking. Don't just tell me to stand and speak in public. I would just wet my pants. But now, I mean, it's so funny. I kept trying and kept trying, but now I can really see how far I have gone in trying to speak in public. So as a Scrum Master, don't think that when you make mistake, that is the end of the world. No, it is rather an indication that you are on the track to get it right. Okay? All right. Now, as I've always mentioned here, that the Scrum Guide is my reference guide. As far as Scrum is concerned, I always try as much as I can to pay attention to what the Scrum Guide says, because it is, for me as a Christian, it is like the Bible. For a Muslim, I think it should be like the Quran. So whatever you hold in holy esteem, the Scrum Guide is like that reference guide. Now, how does the Scrum Guide summarize the function or the responsibilities of a Scrum Master? 3 components: serving the team, serving the Scrum Master, serving the product owner, and serving the organization. In fact, the summary of the Scrum Master's responsibility is summarized in helping the team to always to deliver value each iteration or each sprint. So if you as a Scrum Master, you as an Agile coach, right, that your team is not delivering value every sprint, then you need to ask yourself a question: what impact are you bringing? So it is summarized in helping the team to use the Scrum process to deliver value each sprint. And the Scrum Guide was able to give us that idea in 3 components: how the Scrum Master collaborate with the Scrum team, collaborate with the product owner, and also help the organization. So this is just giving an idea of how the Scrum Master perform his or her different roles. Now, in terms of the KPIs, when you are working in an organization, what would you use as a yardstick in order to know whether really you are carrying your team along? Now, I do remember, I'm going to make this very much practical and realistic, perhaps using part of myself as an experiment. I remember when I joined one of the organizations I worked before. When I joined, they barely finish up with their items or stories for each sprint. They always have carried over stories from one sprint to the other. And I started paying attention to why that was happening. One was because of their poor planning. Poor planning. There was no refinement, there was no estimation, right? There was no way for them to track, changes that occur within the sprints. A lot of things was really happening. Now, for you as a Scrum Master to really measure your progress, right? You need to be able to have a planning reliability. In fact, you need to have a way to track your team improvements. What I usually do when I go into organization is to be able to identify their performance level. I would have to create like a worksheet for myself and then identify some of the team performance, maybe their technique in terms of their sprint planning, if they're also doing things like backlog refinements. What how does the team communicate, right? So I used to put those things down, and then I have to do an analysis by either a one-on-one connection or studying the historical data of the team. Then I have to from there use it as a springboard. So having a way to track the team performance could be one way for you to, as a Scrum Master, to measure your progress or your success. The second one is the idea of your face or your feeling or your emotion. As a Scrum Master, you're always a leader. That is why the Scrum Guide says the Scrum Master is a servant leader, right? So your mood would, to a reasonable extent, affect members of the team. Even though you might not have a good day, maybe something happened at night, you woke up and then come to meetings putting on a smiling face. It solves a lot of problem. I have gotten a lot of compliment from my team members that I'm always shining my teeth. It's kind of funny the day I got that as a feedback from my team members. All right. So are you always putting on this bright face? All right. Even though when things are not really going well, as a human being, sometimes you are always up, you're always down, right? That's mood swing. But when you are within your team, try as much as you can to put on that smiling face, not just to pretend to put on a smiling face, but to demonstrate it. Because by doing that, you are influencing the atmosphere and you're also motivating the decision making. Now, the third indicator is the idea of collaborating with the PO. For me, the Scrum Master and the PO should always work in tandem. By that I mean, they should always, have this collaboration that is unquantifiable. What I usually do in organization is to always have a one-on-one connect or touch point with my PO. We start having a weekly touch point, and then as we progress, we can decide to either modify it to maybe once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks or once a month. But I would encourage to do once every week. Weekly touch points would always help you as a Scrum Master to understand the product, but also to help in the finishing up or accomplishing the sprint goal. Remember, the PO is mostly concerned about the product backlog. The Scrum Master is concerned about the Scrum process. So how would the two be able to work together? By having that close collaboration, right? So every Scrum Master and every PO should be able to work together. Now, the fourth indicator is having a working software each sprint. I mean, in the Agile Manifesto, that was really, really demonstrated so clearly there. And also in the 12 Agile Principles, we have working software is what defines a sprint. So each sprint, the team should be able to demo something that is usable. That is why the Scrum Guide says shippable increments. In other words, it should be usable. Now, in shipping that, the customer will be happy. So having a satisfied customer is one indication that you as a Scrum Master, you are doing very well, right? So if you are a Scrum Master and your customers, it could be internal stakeholders, it could be external stakeholders, whoever is the sponsor of that is not happy, then you should be able to pay attention. So what I used to do, again, is, I do remember when I joined an organization, and one of the things that the organization wasn't doing at that point in time was not including or not inviting our stakeholders or the project sponsors to the sprint review. Mostly the sprint review was internal. So I was asking my supervisor at that time, why was it that they weren't inviting the stakeholders? I mean, the feedback I got wasn't really convincing and concrete. Now, things like, oh, the stakeholders are always busy. They wouldn't find the split review very, very much interesting. I said, okay, how about we start from a small scale? We can invite them once every month because we used to run 2 week sprints. And then if they like it the first time, then from there we can decide and ask them if they could create more time or how we could incorporate them into our sprint review moving forward. So the first time we did it, the pool we did, because after that I ran a pool, and then the percentage of the feedback we got was that they would love to be invited again for the next sprint review. In other words, we were able to show them, working software each sprint or each sprint review, so that we're happy. As a Scrum Master, you should always run a review or survey or run a pool. And nowadays, if you are using Microsoft Teams, we have a new feature where you can flash your screen and run a quick pool in order to capture feedback as the sprint review meeting progresses. Now, the the last but not the least KPI is about continuous improvement through self-organization. Now, I have worked with team members. The idea of this hierarchy, the power, the command and control. Most of the times when organizations say that they are doing agile, you need to pay attention. Sometimes people don't understand that you don't do agile, you be agile, you live it. It's a mindset. And in an agile environment, there is no command and control. And that command and control is always identified when either you see a manager or a stakeholder who is also part of the Scrum team. The team members would not feel comfortable. So as the Scrum Master, if your team has not gotten to that idea of self-autonomy, self-organization, then you need to be able to play a key role to make it self-organized. In building this self-organized, you are also building trust, which is also another key indicator. But in all of these things you might see on the internet, I have summarized them in these 5 key indicators. One is having a planning reliability in terms of a way to track, team performance. Second is your mood as a Scrum Master. You should always feel, as soon as you enter the meeting, either in an office setting or in individual space, the team members will feel your presence. Their smiling face, your jokes, your, listening technique, the way you used to talk to your team members, they will feel it. They will trust you. They will like you, and they can find it easy to talk to you. Not just putting that very much frowning face, or sometimes when you look at some people's face, your heart just skips, and then you lose what you want to say. But when you put on that smiling face, what are you doing? You are attracting them, right? Make sure that you're also connecting with your PO, and that each sprint you're always delivering, building on the sprint goal, and your customers are happy. You're also building and shipping, having a releasable increment each sprint, and then your team members are always continuously finding out way to improve. Whatever they have done in the last sprint, the next sprint they will do, there should be an additional improvement technique there. All right, that's where we're going to stop for today. That's about 19 minutes listening to me. Thank you. You're awesome. You are so amazing. Thank you so much. Please, as always, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think this kind of captures all of the key performance indicator to measure your progress and your success as a Scrum Master? What other things do you think I am missing here? Did I get all of them? Okay, so if you think I got all of them, can I get a thumbs up? Can you like it? Can you help me to share it? Thank you so much for listening to me for this 19 minutes. I love it. You are awesome. Thank you so much. I will see you again next time. In the meantime, I hope you stay well. I'll see you again. Bye for now.